Being a superhero has never been an easy job. Villains are coming everywhere and you are the only person capable to protect the New York City.
Peter, it's time to get up.
This is the evolution of Marvel Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the most popular hero of all time. Since 1960, the character has inspired many books, movies, and games. He is also one of the favorite superheroes that most kids dream of becoming. Although Spider-Man appears in several games since 1982, most of these games weren't impressive. However, in 2018 a masterpiece was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Entertainment for the PlayStation 4. Marvel Spider-Man immediately revolutionized the concept of web swinging. It has great gameplay, combat, impressive graphics, and a complex story. We finally got a Spider-Man game we all dream of. Let's start at the very beginning when the first Marvel Spider-Man game was still in development. Almost immediately after Insomniac Games developed Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One, they started working on Marvel Spider-Man. It was the first time the studio worked on creating a licensed game. The idea of a Spider-Man game came after a discussion between Connie Booth from Sony Interactive Entertainment and Ted Prince, the CEO of Insomniac Games. Booth asked Price what he thought about working on a game based on Marvel Comics property. Over the years, Marvel has introduced countless superheroes and other characters and gave Insomniac the freedom to choose any character they liked. More, Marvel didn't want them to work on an existing movie or comic, but to create their own original story. Insomniac eventually chose Spider-Man because he was considered the most relatable character. The team liked the dynamic between the heroic Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Creative director Brian Intihar said, quote, "I feel he's the most relatable of heroes. As much as I love Tony Stark, it's harder to identify with a billionaire. As more as I love Thor, it's hard to identify with a god. Peter makes mistakes, he has ups and downs in his career, his relationships, his family. I think we can all relate to that." You can clearly see the passion they had for Spider-Man in all aspects during the development of the game. The concept phase started in 2014. Some of the major goals Insomniac set to achieve were creating a perfect story, finding a voice of the characters, finding out how to make Spider-Man traverse through New York City, and deciding what combat would be like.
Some see self-doubt as an invitation to be greater. This is your opportunity to prove it.
One of the most important features of the game was, of course, the swinging. The team started by creating a very simple version of New York City with buildings of different heights. The swinging had to feel and look right. This meant that the web had to attach to buildings instead of just shooting into the clouds. One of the early tests during this phase was the chase and steering test. Spider-Man had to be able to traverse through the city quickly and skillfully. Questing like how should Spider-Man interact with different objects, And what if there is no building around to attach his web had to be answer. To create the world and gameplay, Insomniac used a proprietary engine previously used in Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive had many similarities in gameplay since it also focused on fast-paced traversing through the world with high jumps and skillful moves. Although the Spider-Man world is larger than Sunset Overdrive, working on this game before Marvel Spider-Man helped Insomniac achieve the silky smooth movement of Spider-Man swinging around Manhattan rooftops. Next came the alpha phase. During this phase, the team had to figure out what the combat would be like, and how Spider-Man interact with the world. The world received much more detail, and the team started doing tests to know what the combat would feel and look like. Spider-Man could jump around, trap people with his web on the floor, and throw enemies around. During the latter part of this stage, the city was starting to look more realistic. With people and cars on the streets, the combat also became more refined. However, there were still many glitches in the game, as a game developer, Elon Ruskin, showed during one of his talks. In the final phase of development, there were many test play. Insomniac wanted to avoid loading screens as much as possible. However, that was very challenging considering how detailed developers made Manhattan. The team also put great emphasis on the story. Since building a great original story was very challenging, the team also received help from Marvel Studios. One of the most important things about the storyline was finding a perfect balance between the life of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. The team learned that whenever Spider-Man wins, Peter Parker loses, and vice versa. As more, Spider-Man traversal through the city was continuously refined and updated until it's released. According to the creative director, Brian Intihar, the team members kept coming with creative ideas, and some of them added in the final moments before launch. In November 2020, Insomniac released a spin-off Marvel Spider-Man game titled Spider-Man Miles Morales for PlayStation 4 and 5. The game is based on Marvel Comics superhero Miles Morales. It is inspired by both the animation film Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse and the comic book mythology. The PlayStation 5 version of the game takes advantage of the console increased processing power and the DualSense controller that support haptic feedback. The gameplay in open world is the same as its predecessor.
They're after Newform! Tinkerer! Stop!
Gotta say, I'm disappointed, bud. Krieger.
You think you can beat the Tinker? Rock some. You can.
Every time I think I got this Spider-Man thing figured out, something goes wrong.
Miles, our family doesn't give up.
Whenever you say Spider-Man, you always mean the other one. You're Spider-Man. You can fix this. Your way.
This is my time. I'm seizing the moment cause I gotta go for the time's gone. Ain't scared of the dark cause I'm bringing the light with the night's gone. I shine on. I see it coming, I don't need a sign. Just a moment, I'ma make it mine. This is my time. My time now. My time.
In 2021, Insomniac announced Marvel Spider-Man 2. Unfortunately, fans of the series have to be patient since the game will be released exclusively on the PlayStation 5 in 2023.
One who could push me. One who could surprise me. One who could even beat me. Yet all I found is disappointment. Will one of you finally give me what I desire? Yes, we will.
Please make sure to subscribe for more evolution videos. Thanks for watching.